We are learning about the data types in C# programming language. In the previous video, we were learning about the Boolean data type, and now in this video, we will talk about the integer data type. Integer, int, or system.int32, all of them are same. Let's see what we have in this int data type. Here is the quick agenda of this video. In this video, we will learn what is integer type, how to declare the integers, how to assign the values to integers. We can also assign positive and negative values. What is the difference in between system.int32 or the int? What is the default value of integer? What is the size of integer in memory? What is the maximum value and the minimum value of integers? What are some built-in methods for the integer type? How to work with nullable integer? And at the last, we will see how to create a custom alias for integers. Let's open the Visual Studio and let's start the learning of integer data type. Here I have created a very basic console application and I'm using the .NET 7.0. We can increase or decrease the font size of this Visual Studio by using this particular drop down. If you will click over here, you will see there are a complete list. So the current setting is 100%. If I'm using 150, the size will be updated. If you want to increase or decrease the size of your font by using the mouse and keyboard, then you can press the control button and then move the wheel of your mouse like this. So let's say I'm okay with this particular font. Now let's talk about the integer data type. Let's remove this line. Integers in C# programming language are used to hold the numbers value. What number values? For example, if I'm having 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 like this. These are some numbers and we call them integer value. If you will notice one thing over here, we are not having any decimals over here. These are whole numbers. You cannot store points or decimals in the integers. It must be a whole number. Now let's learn how to declare the integer data type. To declare the integers, we can simply use the same process that we have done in the previous video as well. For the Boolean data type, we first have to type int keyword and then provide a name. Let's say here I'm typing first number. You can write any meaningful name over here, but remember there are some rules that you need to follow while you are declaring your variable names. That's how you can declare an integer in C# programming language. Other than this way, you can also use the system.int32. You will see for the integers we are having couple of options. We are having int 16, 32, 64. We will learn all of them in upcoming video, but just focus on this int 32. If you are working with the integers, then you must use this int 32. Here let's say I'm defining second number. That's how you can declare the integer by using the system.int32. So what is the difference in between this int and system.int32? There is no difference. This int is just an alias for this system.int32. Instead of writing this system.int32, you can simply use int keyword. And we generally use this int keyword, not the system.int32. Now let's learn how to assign some values. To assign some values in integers, first we have to type the name of our variable. Let's say it is first number. Then to assign the values, we always use the equal symbol. And then you can type your number over here, directly number like this. And at the last, we have to put a semicolon. You do not have to write any kind of semicolon, any kind of bracket, any single quote, nothing like that. Just simply use your plain number over here. So what is happening now? First, we are declaring a variable with name first number. And then at the last, we are assigning a value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to this number. If I want to display this value on the console screen, then I can use the same method, which is console.writeLine, and I can use the code from IntelliSense by pressing the tab. You will see over here the value of this first number will be displayed or printed on the console window. Let's click on this button. See, we are having the same value on the console screen. If you will hold your mouse over here on the system.int32, then you will notice we are having some suggestions. So what are the suggestions? It is saying name can be simplified. Let's click on this one and you can see simplify name system.int32. So instead of writing the system.int32, we can simply use this int keyword. But because we are learning here about both of them, so let's not use that suggestion. Just like we have assigned the values in this first number, in the same way you can also assign the value to this second number. So here I'm writing second number, let's say it is 90. That's it. This is how we can assign the values. Just like the other data types, we can also assign the values while we are declaring them. It means if I'm declaring the variable over here, then I can assign the value here also, like this. It is very simple. Now let's say I want to declare more than one variables of integer type. Then how to do that? Let's remove this value 10, and this time I'm using the simple one like a and b and c. In general, we should not use these kind of names. We should always use the proper names like first number, second number, roll number, id, etc. But never use these a, b, c, d. Okay. What I'm doing over here is I am creating 4 integer types over here. First number a, b, c, and the type is integer. Let's comment all these lines. What will happen if I'm assigning 10 over here like this? And now let's try to display the value of c over here. Let's see what is the output. The value is 10. Let's use b. You will see we are getting a red line over here. If I will try to run this application by using this button, then you will see we will get some errors. It is saying there were some build errors. This build error is a concept that we will learn in upcoming video, but here just learn that we are getting some errors and we cannot run this program. Let's click on this no button and let's see what is the error. Here you will see use of unassigned local variable b. It means we are declaring the integer types, but we are not assigning the values to this b. This 10 value is assigned only to this c variable, not to these first number a and b. If you want to assign the values to these first number a and b also, then you have to do that manually over here like this. Now I can use the b. Here you will see we are getting the value on the output screen. Here is a very important tip. Although there is no problem in writing or declaring your variables like this, but always use the separate integers for all your variables. So let's say if I want to work with this a, then I have to write a like this. Int b is equals to 5 like this. Just don't define your variables in one single line. So let's just comment these things as well, and this everything also. And again we will start learning at this particular place. As of now we are working only with the positive numbers, but we are talking about numbers, and number can also be negative. Just for a while let's comment everything and let's declare few other variables. So let's say here I'm typing int my num is equals to, and over here I can assign the negative values as well. Let's say it is -1, and if I want to display the value on the console screen, my num, run this application, you will see we are getting -1 over here. Let's put it side by side over here. So we are declaring a new variable of type integer and we are assigning the negative values. You can also assign some different value as well. Here it is. Let's declare few more variables over here. So here I'm having first, it is 10, and then I'm having int second, it is 20, and let's say I'm having int third. Okay, so in this third I can assign this first directly like this. So what will happen, the value of the first will be assigned to this third variable. So if I will display the third over here, and let's comment this variable also, what we are having two variables, first and second. The value of first is 10, the value of second is 20, and we are creating one more variable, and the value of this new variable is this first. So whatever value we have in this first variable, that will be assigned to this third variable. Let's run this application. See, the value of first is 10 and we are assigning this 10 to the third. That is why we are having 10 here on this console screen. You can also perform some operations over here. Let's say I want to add both these numbers. How to do that? First, second. Let's run this application again. See what we have? We are having 30 here on the output. Why 30? Because we are using first plus 10. So it is 10 plus 20, and the total of both the numbers we are assigning in this third variable. If you will divide your statement at this particular equal symbol, then the right side statement will be calculated first, and then its value will be assigned to the left hand side. So always this one will be calculated first. You can also perform some other operations here. Let's say I'm using minus. What I'm doing, 10 minus 20. So ideally we will get minus 10, and that is the value we are having on the console screen. You can also multiply the values over here, and to multiply we have to use this asterisk symbol. Save the values, run this application. You will see we are having 200. This is how we can work with the integer data type in C# programming language. And remember, you can also use the plus values, the minus values. Now let's talk about the default value of integer. Let's comment all these lines. I'm not removing them because you can always take the reference from the GitHub repository. This entire code will be available in the GitHub repository. Okay. To find out the default value of any data type in C# programming language, we can use one operator, and the name is default. Default, and in the bracket we have to provide the type it integer. I want to find out the default value of integer. How to do that? Let's create int a is equals to like this. So what we are doing, we are finding the default value of integer and we are assigning that value to this a variable. And if I want to display the value on the console screen, then I can use this method. Let's run this application. It is 0. The default value of integer is 0. You can also write the value directly over here. It is default int. Instead of declaring the line over here, you can do it directly like this. And again, you will see we are getting the 0 over here. In the previous video, we were talking about the Boolean data type. Let's use the Boolean over here. Remember, you can use any data type over here in this default operator. Let's run it, and its value is false because the default value of Boolean is false. So talking about the integer, what is the default value? The default value is 0. Now let's talk about the size of this integer in memory. What does it mean? It means, let's say here I'm declaring one integer type variable. It is first. How much size will it take in the memory? Let's find out that. To find out the size of integer, we have to use one more operator, which is SizeOf. You can use this operator on any data type in C# programming language. Let's run this application. It is 4. 4 means 4 bytes. It means if you are declaring one variable of integer type, then it will take 4 bytes. If you are declaring 2, then they will take 8 bytes. Similarly, if you are having 3, then they will take 12 bytes. That's how the memory calculation works in C# programming language. Now let's understand what is the size of Boolean data type. So here I'm typing bool. Let's run this application again, and this time you will see we are having only 1. It means the Boolean is taking less size in memory as compared to the integer type. Here it is 1, it means 1 byte. The integer is taking 4 bytes. Let's learn one more very important concept. Let's assume that here I'm having this variable with name first, and I want to assign some values of integer type over here. So what is the maximum value of integer that I can assign over here? Is it unlimited like this? Can I assign this entire value to this first? Let's find out that. Here you will see we are getting an error over here. It is a red line. It is saying integral constant is too large. It is too large and we cannot assign this large value in this first variable. The type is integer. So what is the maximum value of integer that we can assign? Let's find out that also. To find out the maximum value, let's use console.writeLine, and here I'm typing int dot max value. Let's comment this first line as of now, and let's run this application. What we have, we are having only one single line in this entire program. Remember, everything else is commented, so there is no use of all these lines. The compiler will not run or take care about all these lines. It will take care only about this single line. So just assume that we are having only one single line in our program. Why I'm having these lines? This is because you can take the reference of this code from GitHub repository. Okay, let's run this application. So this is the maximum value that we can assign in an integer data type. Let's copy it and let's just paste it over here. So this is the maximum value that we can assign in the integer data type. Now let's talk about the minimum value. Here, if I will type the min value, save the changes, run this application, and this is the minimum value that we can store in integer data type. Let's copy it, go back over here, we have done the operations at this particular place. And let's comment these lines for a while, because we just wanted to find out what is the maximum and minimum value. Let's say here I'm having int third, and in this third what I'm doing is I'm having first plus 1. Remember, we can always perform some operations on the integer type. So what I'm having is I'm having this first, and then I'm adding 1 to this first, and the entire value I'm assigning to this third. So what should be the output? It should be, instead of having this 7, we must have the 8. So it should be 214 blah blah blah, and at the end we are having 48. And let's use the console.writeLine method to display the value of third variable on the console screen. That's it. Let's run this application. You will see we are having something different over here. We are having the value in the minus. It is 2147483648, and this is the exact value that we are having in this second variable. Although we are adding plus 1 over here in the first variable, but we are getting the output of this second variable. Just for a while, let's get one more variable a, and let's assign 0 or 1 over here, and here let's use this one. So what I'm doing, so here I'm having two variables, I'm not using them, but I have created one more variable a, its value is 1, and I'm creating one more variable with name third. And what I'm doing over here is I'm doing a plus 1, that is 1 plus 1, and I'm assigning it to this third variable. The name is third. Let's run this application again. We are having 2, it is correct, but why we are getting this value if we are adding 1 to this entire number? There is a concept behind that. The concept of adding the number works like in a circular manner. So let's assume we are having 0 over here, and if we will add 1 to this 0, then we will get 1. Similarly, if I will add 1 to this 1, then we will get 2, and so on. Let's say this is the value that I'm having over here. If I will add plus 1 over here, then I will get the 47. And remember, this is the maximum value of an integer can hold. Now what will happen if I will add plus 1 over here in this max value? Because it works in the circular manner, so we will get this particular value, and this is the minimum value that an integer can hold. If you will add plus 2 over here in this max value, then you will get this value. Similarly, if you will add plus 1, so on, you will get minus 2, and if you will add plus 1 over here, you will get minus 1, again plus 1, you will get the 0. So it works in the circular manner, and that's the reason if I'm adding plus 1 over here, I'm getting this minimum value. This is one of the most important concept for your interviews as well. Now let's talk about some built-in methods for the integers. Here we are having some built-in methods for integers. It is int dot is negative, int dot is positive, is even integer, is odd integer. Let's say here I'm having one integer value. It is int a is equals to 10. I want to find out if this number is positive or negative. Then I can do that by using one method. And let's say I want to display the value on the console screen. Console.writeLine. Here what I'm doing is int dot is positive. To find out that, I can simply use this is positive, and here I have to pass the value. Let's say here I'm passing a. Okay, let's see what is the output on the console screen. It is true. Now let's see what is this is positive. Let's right click on this one and choose go to definition. Here we are having this. The return type of this method is boolean. So it means over here I can also do it like this: bool result int dot is positive, and here I can pass this a. And in this console.writeLine, instead of writing this particular logic, I can simply use this result variable name. What I'm doing, I'm having a variable of name a, and the value is 10. Now I'm calculating if this number is positive or not. I can do that easily by using this particular concept, and I'm assigning the result in this boolean result variable. And again in the next line, I'm displaying this value on the console screen. The output is again true. Now let's say the value of a is minus 10. Let's run this application again. This time it is false because this minus 10 is not a positive number. Let's try the another method also. Here I'm having this is negative. Let's run it. This time we'll get true because this minus 10 is a negative number. There are two more methods, is even integer. Let's run this application again. Yes, this minus 10 is an even number. Let's say here I'm having 11. Let's remove this minus as well. Run this application. We are getting false because this 11 is not an even number, it is an odd number. If someone is saying to you, please write a program to find out whether a given number is even or not. To write that kind of program, you can use these built-in methods from the integer type. Similarly, you can also use isOddInteger. This one. Let's run it. It is true. The 11 is an odd value, that is why the result is true. If I'm having, let's say 10, run this application again, we are having false because 10 is not an odd, and we are using this odd integer method to find out if the given number is odd or not. Remember, instead of typing this a, I can also pass the value directly over here like this. If I will run this application, we are getting false. Why? Because this 12 is not an odd number. Let's pass 13. Run this application. It is true because the 13 is an odd number. Now let's talk about the nullable integer type. Just like we have done in the boolean type, we can use a question mark over here like this, and now we can assign the null value here. How? Like this. It is done. The concept of nullable is same in all the data types. We have to simply use a question mark and then we can only assign the null value. Now let's talk about the custom alias for this integer. Just like we have done in the boolean type, we can also create a custom alias for integers here also. So here I'm typing using, and let's use any meaningful name. Let's say it is my int or my custom int, and let's assign system dot int 32 like this. Now instead of writing this integer, let's remove it. I can use my custom int, and let's assign a value over here. It is, let's say 12, and let's use this a here. So what we are having? We are having this a of type this my custom int, and what is this my custom int? It is an alias for this system dot int 32. Let's run this application. You will see it is working completely fine. This 12 is not an odd number, that is why we are getting the false value over here. That's how you can work with the integer data type in C# programming language.